Hello everyone. On March 23, 1996, Taiwan held its first presidential election, which according to Western media was Taiwan's first democratic election in 5,000 years of Chinese history. As you know, mainland China was not happy about this event. China has always viewed Taiwan as just a part of its territory, not as an independent country. Yet now Taiwan was holding a presidential election, which was like sending China the message, "I've declared myself an independent country. What are you going to do about it?" So how did mainland China respond? The answer is that they held large-scale military exercises, sending their strongest military forces towards the Taiwan Strait, implying that Election Day would be the day Taiwan returns to China. However, did things unfold that way? The answer is no. Because at the same time, the United States sent aircraft carriers, cruisers, guided missile destroyers and other advanced weaponry owned by the world's most powerful military forces to the waters near Taiwan. And they said to China, "Hey friend, we are much stronger than you, so it's best not to touch Taiwan." This made China reconsider and withdraw its forces. However, that was a story from the past. Now, 25 years later, many things have changed dramatically. Military experts all estimate that a Chinese invasion of Taiwan is entirely possible now. Some sources even predict China will attack Taiwan in 2024, while other estimates are 2027. The exact timeline may be right or wrong, but after Russia attacked Ukraine, the likelihood of China attacking Taiwan is becoming more real. China today is no longer as weak as it was 25 years ago. Its military power has increased significantly. They now have the world's largest military in terms of personnel, with 2 million troops. The US has whatever weapons China almost has, and in some cases even more advanced. In fact, even a US congressional report showed that China's naval power now surpasses the US in terms of number of warships, with 360 ships compared to 297 for the US. However, most of America's ships are larger and more modern. Overall, China now has enough power to confidently attack Taiwan without fearing US threats. So if China attacks Taiwan, what would the scenario look like? According to China's anti-secession law regarding Taiwan, it states that if Taiwan tries to assert independence from China, and if China is unable to apply peaceful means, China will use non-peaceful and other necessary measures to protect its sovereignty and territorial integrity. This means taking Taiwan will go through two processes. First is negotiation peacefully. China certainly does not want war because that would mean many casualties, destruction of assets, and China would face serious economic issues by waging war since the US and allies would impose sanctions. After all, any war means losses and no one likes to suffer losses. So the first measure is always negotiating peacefully with Taiwan. But it can be predicted that likely Taiwan will not agree to any negotiations because they do not want to be merged as a province of China. What they really want is to rule over all of China. So a peaceful merger is highly unlikely. Then the next scenario is war. According to military analysts, China would launch a surprise attack using cruise missiles and fighter jets. The targets would be bases, facilities or equipment that Taiwan could use for defense, such as airports, military bases, command centers, power plants, radar stations or even government buildings. China would also try to cut off Taiwan's connection with the US, to slow down the US reaction to assist Taiwan. Of course, military experts believe Taiwan will not be captured so quickly. Leaders would be moved to underground bunkers. Aircraft hangars are hidden in the mountains. Taiwan's missile launchers are also very well camouflaged. They have had decades to prepare for this, so they still have the capability to counterattack. Taiwan would retaliate with cruise missiles and aircraft, targeting China's air defense radars, warships and military bases along the coast. They would also move forces to the western coast for defense. At this point, China would use fighter jets and land tens of thousands of troops on warships to invade Taiwan. The issue they would face are the artillery and mines that Taiwan has already set up. When getting closer, fierce battles would occur along Taiwan's western coast. At this point, the most critical issue is whether the US gets involved or not. To this day, no one really knows what the US would do if Taiwan is attacked. If the US does not get involved, Taiwan would fall in a short time. But if the US enters this war, they would send troops with aircraft carriers and fighter jets from military bases in the region or Japan. The US targets would be China's warships and aircraft. And if the US gets involved, likely the Japanese and Australian militaries would also participate as allies. But if the US joins, the war between the US and China would become a war between nuclear powers. Everything could become worse if China directly strikes US military bases worldwide or even directly attacks the US mainland with nuclear ballistic missiles. And the world could plunge into World War III with nuclear bombs sending humanity back to the Stone Ages. In general, if war breaks out, thousands or even billions of innocent people would die unfairly, and it's unjust that a few leaders have the power to decide the fates of millions of others. So I always oppose war. How about you?